तस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकथामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेम पदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुसे नमः सप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुत देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेषु गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna. Okay. So can someone quickly summarize in 5 points what have we done until now? The storyline of Bhagavad-gītā so far. Or whatever you could understand. Okay, Giriraj Prabhu, please go ahead.
Yes, Prabhuji. So initially, Arjun, first part was Arjun lamenting part. So basically, what happens is he tells Krishna to go and take the chariot in middle. And in that cases, he says 5 reasons for which he won't fight. And based on that, basically he says, first of all, due to family attachment, then due to lack of enjoyment, then sinful reactions, then varna sankalpa and indecision. And after this, Krishna starts to, once he surrenders finally, then Krishna starts to give his knowledge. So he says, we are not this soul. Then finally, he, after giving many reasons of analytical ways, he says, starts with karma yoga slowly, karma nivadika raste. Then slowly he speaks about buddhi yoga. And in that way, and also says how 2.62 and 63, how, calm and all works. Then he comes to karma yoga, practically speaking, because Arjun was confused that you are saying renounce as well as you're saying to fight. So then he says that even to maintain, you need to work. So Krishna says that instead of pretending by renouncing, you need to, at least if you're working by controlling your senses, that's good. Then Krishna says this cycle of sacrifice, how the cycle of sacrifice works, how everything should be done for the satisfaction of Vishnu.
Perfect. Thank you, Prabhu. So Gitanshu Prabhu, tell me one thing, that in the second chapter, Krishna already explained Arjun everything. So what doubt did Arjun have in the beginning of the third chapter? Any idea? Can you remember?
Yes, when Krishna tells about them, maybe I'm not wrong to be honest, whatever I remember, I could tell you this.
There is some disturbance in your background, Prabhu.
Like actually, so I'm in temple hall right now. So Kirtan is going on.
Kirtan is going on. Okay, so you can mute and Vedas Prabhu. You carry on.
Okay, I come in also next.
Pardon?
I just came on stairs. It's fine.
No, still I think we can hear the instruments.
Okay,
Yeah, it's better now. It's better now. You can go ahead. Yes, Prabhu. Gitanshu Prabhu.
When in second chapter, Krishna explains Arjun everything in a summarized form. So after when in the starting of third chapter, so Arjun had doubts like he didn't understand this property, so that's why he asked some question. I don't exactly remember this. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Vedas Prabhu,
Oh,
what are your views?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu,
Hare Krishna.
Arjun thinks that these statements are contradictory, so he asks for more clarification as he is confused.
Yeah, not contradictory, but what is the exact question that Arjuna asked? Okay, fine. Let me just summarize quickly. Fight is about to begin. Arjun asks Krishna, I want to see who has come to fight with me. Then all of a sudden, Arjun collapses. He says that I am not going to fight this war. And then he has some arguments. Krishna tries to explain Arjun that why he should fight this war. So he refutes all the argument. Krishna says in the second chapter about karma that you have the right to perform your duty. And after that, he goes on explaining about Nishkam Karma Yoga, Buddhi Yoga. Then Arjun thinks that karma only means Sakam Karma Yoga. So for Arjun, he is thinking that karma means that you get some results. And then Buddhi Yoga is more towards taking renunciation. So he asked that if you think that Buddhi is better than karma, then why do you want me to fight? Because he was confused that karma means Sakam Karma, or that you have to get something you desire and then you work. So this was what he was thinking about Karma Yoga. And then Krishna goes on explaining about Nishkam Karma Yoga, that Nishkam Karma Yoga is better than Jnana Yoga. Then he explains about the karma, the sacrifice cycle, the Yajna Chakra, bringing Arjun from Karma Kand and raising him to the platform of Karma Yoga. Whatever we do is karma. If you are not doing it for Krishna, for the Supreme, then you are doing Karma Kand. When you start doing things for the Supreme, Lord Vishnu, Krishna, then you come to the platform of Karma Yoga. And this is what Krishna explains now. The fourth section of the third is Nishkam Karma Yoga. And I'm going to share my screen and we will get this started. Sharing my screen now. Just let me know when you can see, and then yes,
we can see.
3.18. Okay. I think it's supposed to be 3.17. So we will continue our tradition. Who will recite this shlok? We'll start with Giriraj Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Yastvatmaratir syad atmatryptascha manava atmanyeva cha santushtas tasya karyam na vidyate. Translation: but for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self-realization, and who is satisfied in the self only, fully satiated, for him there is no duty.
Purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. A person who is fully Krishna conscious and is fully satisfied by his acts in Krishna consciousness no longer has any duty to perform. Due to his being Krishna conscious, all impiety within is instantly cleansed, an effect of many, many thousands of yajna performances. By such clearing of consciousness, one becomes fully confident of his eternal position in relationship with the Supreme. His duty thus becomes self-illuminated by the grace of the Lord, and therefore he no longer has any obligations to the Vedic injunctions. Such a Krishna-conscious person is no longer interested in material activities and no longer takes pleasure in material arrangements like wine, women, and similar infatuations. People have this question that after coming to Bhakti, when should we stop going to our job or our work? This is the question, not for you because you are beginners, but those who have been with this process for 10, 15, 20, 25 years. So this question comes that until when am I going to work? So answer is until you are fully 24 hours Krishna conscious. Until you have reached that point, we need to work. The moment we have reached that point, and when we reach that point, it's not like that we need validation from someone else. We know. For instance, if we are hungry and we eat, so we know that now my hunger is gone. We don't need validation from someone else that now you are fed. We know for ourselves, right? So similarly, we have to work only unless we come to this position. So who takes pleasure in the self, Atmaram, whose human life is one of self-realization, and who is satisfied in the self only, fully satiated. For him, there is no duty. Okay. Next. Please raise your hands if you want to recite. If no one raises their hand, let me know, Gurudev Prabhu. I'll continue.
Gitansha Prabhu.
Okay.
Never footsteps of an author, not questioning, not justice of the beauty truth, if others pray about ourselves. What self-realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason not to perform such work, nor has he any need to depend on any other living being.
A self-realized man is no longer obliged to perform any prescribed duty, save and except activities in Krishna consciousness. So when it is said no duty, does not mean that go to Himalayas and don't do anything. It means that they only perform Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not inactivity either, as will be explained in the following verses. A Krishna conscious man does not take shelter of any person, man or demigod. Whatever he does in Krishna consciousness is sufficient in the discharge of his obligation. This is a very high level, very, very high level, because now we have the tendency to run here and there, to go everywhere, to read Shiv Puran, to recite this stotra, this thing, that thing, because we are not yet there. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is sufficient. We don't need anything else. But because we have we still don't have that conviction in this Mahamantra. That is why we actually look for things elsewhere. So this is a very, very high state. Okay? Let's move on to next sloka. Who's gonna read this?
No hands.
Okay. तस्माद् असक्त सततं कार्यं कर्म समाचर असक्तो हि आचरन् कर्म परमाप्नोति पुरुषः. Translation: Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty, for by working without attachment, one attains the Supreme. The Supreme is the personality of Godhead for the devotees and liberation for the impersonalist. A person, therefore, acting for Krishna or in Krishna consciousness, under proper guidance and without attachment to the result of the work, is certainly making progress towards the supreme goal of life. Arjuna is told that he should fight in the battle of Kurukshetra for the interest of Krishna because Krishna wanted him to fight. To be a good man or a non-violent man is a personal attachment, but to act on behalf of the Supreme is to act without attachment for the result. That is perfect action of the highest degree, recommended by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. Most of the people we see who go out on the street doing book distribution, they are high managers sitting on high posts in their companies. Guru Maharaj, he was the general manager of a very high reputed company. And every day after work, he would go, he was in Montreal, Canada. He would go, come to the temple, sit, he would chant his 16 rounds, then go out in the substation, metro, and then he would do book distribution for hours and hours. He was not an ordinary person, even materially. He was the general manager at that time. And most of the people we see who do book distribution, they are not ordinary people materially. They are millionaires, they have thousands and thousands of millions in their bank account. Still, for the sake of Guru, for sake of Prabhupada, for sake of Krishna, they go out to do. So this is what Krishna is trying to explain to Arjun. that even if we think that something is good, something is bad, right? That is all attachment to my ego, because I am thinking it is good and bad. That means my ego. But when I stop that and 100% I surrender to my Guru, because Guru and Krishna, they are always on the same line. So if Guru is saying something to me, that means Krishna is saying that to me via Guru. So if we just start following that, that means we have completely surrendered to Krishna. And this is what Arjun is being told, that you fight because Krishna wants you to fight this war. Lose all your arguments. Vedic rituals like prescribed sacrifices are performed for purification of impious activities that were performed in the field of sense gratification. But action in Krishna consciousness is transcendental to the reactions of good or evil work. A Krishna conscious person has no attachment for the result, but acts on behalf of Krishna alone. He engages in all kinds of activities but is completely non-attached. Let's read this line again. But action in Krishna consciousness is transcendental to the reactions of good or evil work. Everything that we have gotten today, our spouse, our friends, our relatives, parents, job, house, car, everything is the cause of our actions, our previous actions, is our prarabdha. For instance, I may work very hard, very, very hard. Still, I will only get that salary that I am designated for. And even if I don't work, still I am going to get that money, no matter what. And the logic is that when a child is born in a millionaire family, the child has not even uttered a word. He has not even taken a step what to think about going to do a job. Still that child is millionaire. Why? Because there is prarabdha of that child. And someone becomes a beggar. They have not done anything, but still they are beggar. Why? Because of their prarabdha. So anything that we have today, anything and everything is our prarabdha. But there is only one thing that is not our prarabdha, and that is bhakti. Bhakti only comes by kripa, mercy. So if we are sitting and hearing this Bhagavad-gītā, doing chanting and serving, that is nothing to do with our prarabdha. That is complete mercy of a Vaishnava. Okay? And doing this Krishna consciousness will not give us any good or bad karma. Next. Giriraj Prabhu?
Can I take Abhishek Trivedi Prabhu?
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, am I audible?
Yes, Prabhu, you are.
Ankit, sorry to interrupt. What is the meaning of prarabdha here?
Prarabdha means our past life karma.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, Abhishek Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Yeah. करुणैः संसिद्धि मासिता जनकादयः लोकसङ्गहमेवापे सम्पश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि. Kings such as Janaka attained perfection solely by performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work.
Perfect. Kings like Janak were all self-realized souls. Consequently, they had no obligation to perform the prescribed duties in the Vedas. Nonetheless, they performed all prescribed activities just to set examples for the people in general. Janak was the father of Sita and father-in-law of Lord Sri Ram. Being a great devotee of the Lord, he was transcendentally situated, but because he was the king of Mithila, a subdivision of Bihar province in India, he had to teach his subjects how to perform prescribed duties. So Janak Maharaj is one of the Mahajan. Only 12 people in this entire cosmic manifestation who can understand Krishna to the most. No one can understand Krishna 100%. Even Krishna cannot understand himself 100%. But these 12 people, among which there is Janak Maharaj, he was one of those who knows the most about God. And he was again a Atmaram. Atmaram means that he had nothing to do anything with material things. He was completely 100% transcendental. But when he saw Lord Ramchandra for the first time, when Lord Ramchandra comes to Mithila, he was completely bewildered by the beauty of Lord Ramchandra. And immediately, instantly, he could understand that this boy is not someone ordinary, because he knew that I cannot be attracted to anyone ordinary or anyone material. So definitely this person is transcendental. And Janak Maharaj, he had absolutely no obligation towards anyone, but still, for the sake, the next slok, Yat Yat Acharati Sreshta, will make us explain better. So, for instance, understand it like this, that father or mother, when they teach their kids how to write A, B, C, D, right? So the father or mother, they know A, B, C, D. It's not that they are learning A, B, C, D. They are just teaching the child. And for the sake of teaching, they are performing that activity. Or when they are imitating how to walk like a child, so that child could learn how to walk, right? Similarly, the great people, they are not there to do they don't need, they have no obligation. For instance, Prabhupada had no obligation to chant 16 rounds. He was 100% Krishna conscious. And I've told you this before, that he was so busy because he had to do so much of work actually in those last 10 years of his life. So then the devotees would ask that, Prabhupada, you asked us to chant 16 rounds, but how is it that we don't see you chanting rounds? So Prabhupada said, come and put your ears to my back. And the devotee puts the ear towards the back of Prabhupada, and he could hear Hare Krishna Mahamantra going inside the body of Prabhupada. So Prabhupada did not need to do, but still he showed us, and he chanted 16 rounds whenever he got time. So these disciples actually, the foreigners, they take a long time to place trust on someone. But once they place their trust, it is a very solid trust. They would actually hide CCTV camera or whatever camera they used to get in those days. So they would hide those cameras and they would see what is Prabhupada doing when he's alone. And then they would see that Prabhupada, whenever he would work so hard whole day, and then whenever he got to his room, he would chant. He would chant, he would sleep at 11 o'clock, he would wake up at 1 o'clock, only 2 hours sleep, and then he would write 1 to 4 o'clock. So this is why they have faith, even now if you see in the Western world. They have no faith in anyone else. They only place their faith in Srila Prabhupada because of this, his activities. Though he's not obligated, but still he showed the way. So, moving ahead, Lord Krishna and Arjun, the Lord's eternal friend, had no need to fight in the battle of Kurukshetra, but they fought to teach people in general that violence is also necessary in a situation where good arguments fail. Before the battle of Kurukshetra, every effort was made to avoid the war, even by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the other party was determined to fight. So for such a right cause, there is a necessity for fighting. Now again, this is transcendental. Never misunderstand this statement that even by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when it says before the battle of Kurukshetra, every effort was made to avoid the war, even by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the other party was determined to fight. So that does not mean that Krishna failed. He wanted, but he could not do. He actually wanted the war to take place, but he is just acting. This is just a part of his Leela, that he is making everyone believe that he went as a Shanti Doot, as an ambassador, and he tried to stop the war. But actually it was his idea, it was his desire that this war takes place. So for such a right cause, there is a necessity for fighting. Although one who is situated in Krishna consciousness may not have any interest in the world, he still works to teach the public how to live and how to act. Experienced persons in Krishna consciousness can act in such a way that others will follow, and this is explained in the following verse. Now this is an important verse of Bhagavad-gītā, or the 3rd chapter. Who will read this?
Jyoti Mataji.
यदिताचरति श्रेष्ठतरदेवेतरो जना तायत प्रमाणं कुरुते लोकस्तु धनुर्वर्ते.
Translation?
Translation. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standard he sets by exemplary act, all the world pursues.
People in general always require a leader who can teach the public by practical behavior. Acharya. Acharya comes from the word acharan. Acharan means what we do. So it's like walk your talk. That you first follow yourself and then only you speak and ask others to follow. So a leader cannot teach the public to stop smoking if he himself smokes. Lord Chaitanya said that a teacher should behave properly before he begins teaching. One who teaches in that way is called Acharya or the ideal teacher. Therefore, a teacher must follow the principles of Shastra, scripture, to teach the common man. The teacher cannot manufacture rules against the principles of revealed scripture. The revealed scriptures like Manu Samhita and similar others are considered the standard books to be followed by human society. Thus, the leader's teaching should be based on the principles of such standard Shastra. One who desires to improve himself must follow the standard rules as they are practiced by the great teachers. The Srimad Bhagavatam also affirms that one should allow in the footsteps of great devotees, and that is the way of progress on the path of spiritual realization. The king or the executive head of a state, the father and the school teacher are all considered to be natural leaders of the innocent people in general. All such natural leaders have a great responsibility to their dependents. Therefore, they must be conversant with standard books of moral and spiritual codes. So when we see everyone who comes to do Leela in Bhagavatam, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in Ramayana, so every personality, they go through so much so that they can teach us by their action. For instance, Bhishma Pitama. Bhishma Pitama was so powerful, like a Trimingala fish, that if Bhishma Pitama would have told Duryodhan that I am not fighting this war from your side, there would have been no Mahabharata. Duryodhan fought this war only because Bhishma Pitama was standing on the sides of the Kauravas. Why did he do that? He did that because he was a devotee of Lord Krishna and he could see that Krishna wants this war, and through this war he wants to get rid of all the evils like Duryodhan and party. So for the sake of that, he sacrificed everything, not even caring what people will think about me. Right? Mother Kaikeyi in Ramayana. Mother Kaikeyi, Ramchandra asked Mother Kaikeyi that I want one boon from you. This boon no one can give me. My own mother does not love me as you love me. She will never give me this boon. I want this boon from you only. And Mother Kaikeyi said that I will give my life for you. What is a boon for me? You ask for anything from me. And then Lord Ram said that I want you to send me 14 years exile in the forest. And she fainted. But because she had given her words that I will give you whatever you ask for this boon, so she had to do that. She did not want to do it. She became a villain for eternity after doing that thing. Even today, people who have not understood Ramayana, they curse Mother Kaikeyi, that she is the villain of Ramayana. But for the sake of Ramchandra, she did that. So she is teaching. Bhishma Dev is teaching. Jai and Vijay, they are the Dwarpals of Lord Vishnu. They are the gatekeepers. But because Krishna wanted to have Viryaras, fighting spirit, and he wanted to fight with someone who could sustain that fight, at least for half an hour. Else what is the fun in fighting if the match is over in just one blow? So he wanted someone powerful. Jay and Vijay understood this. And then the whole Leela was done, and then they get cursed and they come as Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksh, Kumbhakaran, Ravan, Dantavakra, and Shishupal, Jagayi, and Madai. right? So every personality, they come, they suffer a lot, they go through a lot so that they can teach us. Manthara was not an ordinary person. Manthara was an Apsara. She was a, what is Apsara? Fairy, not fairy, angel in Christianity word or English. She was an angel or damsel in Shastric word. She was a damsel in heaven, in Swargalok. And Indra used her to भड़काने को क्या बोलते हैं, just to make Kaikai what? Provoke. Yes, thank you. To provoke, yeah. So Indra made Manthara provoke Kaikai. Manthara was also not someone ordinary. She was a damsel of Swargalok. But all these people do everything for the sake of Krishna, Lord Ramchandra. And there are good parts. I mean, these are, I've all told you about the negative aspect or the negative personality, the pastimes. But even when we see positives, like Shatrughan. So Shatrughan, he did so much for Bharat Maharaj. Not even for Lord Ramchandra. He did so much for Bharat Maharaj. So he's teaching us Dasanu Das, how you have to serve the devotees of the Lord. Right? So these people, they teach us. That is why it is said, Yad Yad Acharati Sreshta. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. And that is why we have to read Ramayana, we have to read Bhagavad-gītā, we have to read Bhagavatam, we have to read Chaitanya Charitamrita to get all these, because I sent you a reel of His Holiness God Govind Maharaj, right? Someone asked that, what is Vaishnav? And he said, Vaishnav means simplicity. Saralta hi Vaishnav hai. So the second question was, how can we become simple? So the answer was, you associate with such sadhus. You associate with such Vaishnavas, then only you will become simple. I will tell you another story which I have heard. It's very heart-touching. So His Holiness Gaur Krishna Maharaj, he is no more with us. So he was a sannyasi and he left in Kartik around, I think, 2016. So his brother, he told me this story about him. He said that once Maharaj, he was sick, he was not well. And in morning, it was a cold morning in Vrindavan, and it was around 3:30, 3:45. Mangal Aarti starts at 4:15. So he told his brother who was telling me the story that I am just going to wash my face and brush my teeth and I will come for Mangal Aarti. There was a neophyte devotee, very new boy. He was there, standing there. And then he was looking for a long time. He was looking at Maharaj. And then he asked to Maharaj that, Maharaj, aren't you going to take bath? So immediately Maharaj said, yes, definitely, I will take bath. And in that cold weather, he was having fever. He just took water in the bucket and he poured over himself in front of that new devotee. And the other people, they were shocked that why did he do that? And that new devotee, he said, and he went away. He did not even, he was just there for, I mean, this was not even part of why he asked or whatever happened. He went away, and then his brother asked that, you are not well, why did you take bath? So then Maharaj very beautifully replied, he said that if I wouldn't have taken bath in front of that person, so he would have an excuse for lifetime. That I can skip things because I'm not feeling well. And this is how Maya captures someone. So let me be sick, but this will be a life lesson for him going forward. That a sannyasi has taken bath even because even after he was sick. So this is whatever action a great man performs, common man follows. So when we read such personalities, such pastimes, then only we will become like those people. Okay. Next look. Anyone? Okay. नामे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किञ्चन नानवाप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्मणि. O son of Pratha, there is no work prescribed for me within all the three planetary systems, nor am I in want of anything, nor have I a need to obtain anything, and yet I am engaged in prescribed duties. Who is saying this? Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is described in the Vedic literatures as follows. The Supreme Lord is the controller of all other controllers, and he is the greatest of all the diverse planetary leaders. Everyone is under his control. All entities are delegated with particular power only by the Supreme Lord. They are not supreme themselves. He is also worshipable by all demigods and is the supreme director of all directors. Therefore, he is transcendental to all kinds of material leaders and controllers and is worshipable by all. There is no one greater than him, and he is the supreme cause of all causes. He does not possess a bodily form like that of an ordinary living entity. There is no difference between his body and his soul. He is absolute. All his senses are transcendental. Any one of his senses can perform the action of any other sense. Therefore, no one is greater than him or equal to him. His potencies are multifarious, and thus his deeds are automatically performed as a natural sequence. Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6.7 and 8 verse. Since everything is in full opulence in the personality of Godhead and is existing in full truth, there is no duty for the Supreme Personality of Godhead to perform. One who must receive the results of work has some designated duty, but one who has nothing to achieve within the three planetary systems certainly has no duty. And yet Lord Krishna is engaged on the battlefield of Kurukshetra as the leader of the Kshatriyas because the Kshatriyas are duty-bound to give protection to the distressed. Although he is above all the regulations of the revealed scriptures, he does not do anything that violates the revealed scriptures. For instance, Narsimha Avatar, because he wanted to keep the words of Lord Brahma, that Hiranyakashipu will neither be killed by weapons, nor in the day, nor in the night, neither by human, neither by an animal, neither in the water, nor in the sky. So Lord Krishna, he kept the words of Lord Brahma. All the words he kept. Every other avatar that Ravan has to be killed. So Lord Ramchandra did that. Krishna, when Krishna says Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadishyanti te jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina, that one must approach a spiritual master and take spiritual knowledge from them. Krishna knows everything. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani cha arjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani vam tu vedana kashchana. He says in Bhagavad-gītā 7th chapter that I know a past, present, future of everyone. But still, to show us, to teach us, he took Sandipani Muni as his spiritual master. He goes to Gurukul. He completes his education. Right? Krishna is God. He is not supposed to, there is no obligation for him to get married. Yet he got married. He did everything. Lord Ramchandra, he did everything as a king, as a father, as a son, as a father, as a brother, as a husband. All the duties were perfectly executed by him. Why? To show us, right? So that we also follow such personalities. So although he is above all the regulations of the revealed scriptures, he does not do anything that violates the revealed scriptures. 3.23 यदि चायं न मर्तेयं जातु कर्मण्यतन्द्रितः मम वर्तमानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्य पार्थ सर्वशः. For if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Parth, certainly all men would follow my path. In order to keep the balance of social tranquility for progress in spiritual life, there are traditional family usages meant for every civilized man. Although such rules and regulations are for the conditioned souls, and not Lord Krishna, because he descended to establish the principles of religion, he followed the prescribed rules. Otherwise, common men would follow in his footsteps because he is the greatest authority. From the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is understood that Lord Krishna was performing all the religious duties at home and out of the home as required as a householder. So in his Dwarka Leela, Narad Muni, he sees that in all the 16,108 palaces, Krishna used to perform all the householder chores and duties. He would worship, he would perform yajna, he would take care of his children, he would take care of his wife, he would take care of the praja, his subjects. He would perform all the king duties. So he never shied away from any of his duty, teaching us that we also need to do the same thing. Okay? We'll take one more shlok and then we will open the floor for questions and answers. उच्चिदेयोरिमे लोका न कुर्यां कर्म चेदहं शङ्करस्य च कर्ता स्यामो पहन्यमामिमा प्रजा. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. Varna Shankar is unwanted population which disturbs the peace of the general society. In order to check the social disturbance, there are prescribed rules and regulations by which the population can automatically become peaceful and organized for spiritual progress in life. What is this Varna Shankar? Varna Shankar means unwanted population. When the child is conceived outside of marriage, that is called Varna Shankar. Or if the child is conceived not following the proper Vedic injunctions, that is also Varna Shankar. Because there are 16 sanskars, 16 sanskars that needs to be followed. Starting before birth to the Antim Samskar, when we quit our body, that is the 16th, that is the last. But the Samskar starts before even we are born, and that is called Garbhodan Samskar, when the child is conceived. If the child is not conceived as per the Vedic injunction for propagating Krishna consciousness, what happens is that you will see, for instance, there are certain days only when the child is supposed to be conceived. If you conceive a child on Amavasya, if you conceive a child on particular days like Chaturdashi, so you will see that if the child is born in Amavasya or conceived in Amavasya, then they will be very devilish, demon-like. And then they will have problem with their eyes, they would have their health issues, they would be very weak-minded, they won't have any bodily strength. So why do we see people with such problems today? Because the parents did not know about this Garbhodan Sanskar. And it is not also the fault of the parents, actually, this was their prarabdha. It was their prarabdha that they had to be that way. But at least if we educate ourselves or the coming generation that this is also a samskar, then we can avoid this Varna Shankar. Because if a child is conceived only for lust, then that is going to create a havoc in the society in the future, that child. That is why we see that the child, they go on doing all the nonsensical things. Their language is not sober. Always abusing, always cursing. They wouldn't listen to their parents. They would always tease the other gender, the girls or others. They would be very bad with the young boys. They would beat them. They will bully them. So why all these things? Because the parents could not take care. They did not take care. And then when the child turns 10, 11, 12, when he starts becoming independent, then he just loses and he is not in the control of the parent. And then the parents cry that our child does not listen to us anymore. Why? Because you did something that was not as per the Vedas. You did not even know. That is why we have to know to stop this Varna Shankar. So when Lord Krishna descends, naturally he deals with such rules and regulations in order to maintain the prestige and necessity of such important performances. The Lord is the father of all living entities, and if the living entities are misguided, indirectly the responsibility goes to the Lord. Therefore, whenever there is general disregard of regulative principles, the Lord himself descends and corrects the society. We would, however, note carefully that although we have to follow in the footsteps of the Lord, we still have to remember that we cannot imitate him. Following and imitating are not on the same level. We cannot imitate the Lord by lifting Govardhan Hill as the Lord did in his childhood. It is impossible for any human being. We have to follow his instructions, but we may not imitate him at any time. The Srimad Bhagavatam 10:33, 30, 31 affirms, one should simply follow the instructions of the Lord and his empowered servants. Their instructions are all good for us, and any intelligent person will perform them as instructed. However, one should guard against trying to imitate their action. One should not try to drink the ocean of poison in imitation of Lord Shiv. We should always consider the position of the Ishwar, or those who can actually control the movements of the sun and the moon, as superior. Without such power, one cannot imitate the Ishwar, who was super powerful. Lord Shiva drank poison to the extent of swallowing an ocean. But if any common man tries to drink even a fragment of such poison, he will be killed. That was halahal wish. That was not an ordinary wish that Lord Shiva drank in Samudra Manthan, churning of the buttermilk ocean. There are many pseudo devotees of Lord Shiv who want to indulge in smoking ganja, marijuana, and similar intoxicating drugs, forgetting that by so imitating the acts of Lord Shiv, they are calling death very near. Similarly, there are some pseudo devotees of Lord Krishna who prefer to imitate the Lord in his Ras Leela or dance of love, forgetting their inability to lift Govardhan hill. It is best, therefore, that one not try to imitate the powerful, but simply follow their instructions, nor should one try to occupy their post without qualification. There are so many incarnations of God without the power of the Supreme Godhead. Okay? So that is clear that we have to follow, but we should never imitate such Ishwar or God. Okay, there is a question. Is intercaste or interfaith marriage also considered as Varnshankar? No. This has nothing to do with the marriage, this Varnshankar. Marriage between two people, so there are different injunctions for marriage. For instance, there are 4 Varna. What are those? Brahman, Kshatriya, then Vaishya and Shudra. Now, the thing is that what we have today, general, SC, ST, OBC in India, other backward caste, scheduled tribe, this is all bogus. This is all man-made. Okay, this is not God-made. So, when a marriage takes place between 2 individuals, the Varn is supposed to be seen. Varn. So, anyone, if they know astrology even a bit, we have 8 pointers, right? And the first is the Varn, that the boy is, let's say, Kshatriya, the girl is also Kshatriya or Vaishya or Shudra or Brahman. So the rule is that the Varn of the boy should be equal to or higher than the girl. For instance, if the boy is Kshatriya, so the girl should either be Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. In very rare cases, it's possible that the girl is Brahman. That has actually happened. Devyani and who was the daughter of Shukracharya. Devyani and Sarmishta. So they got married to the same person, and one of them was Brahman and the second was Kshatriya, and the king was Kshatriya. So there have been instances, but this is the general rule when it comes to Varn. This has nothing to do with the caste that we have today, Hindu, Muslim, and Sikhism, Jainism, Buddhism, and this and that. No, that has not to do with it. It is to do with Varn. Okay, I see a hand up by Abhishek Vedi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, I have multiple questions.
Mm-hmm.
One point which you made, in which you said that even Krishna doesn't understand himself 100%. That probably I didn't understand the meaning.
Yeah, this is inconceivable. For instance, can we count the drop of water in ocean? Can you? Or can you think anyone can?
But the personality of Godhead should be able to do that.
Okay. Yes, exactly. So that is why it is called inconceivable. I will explain this. So once someone asked Prabhupada, can Krishna, you say that Krishna can do everything, can Krishna make a rock, build a rock that he cannot lift? Prabhupada said yes. Krishna can build or make a rock that he cannot lift, and then he can lift it. So similarly, if I can count my money, that am I really rich? If I count that I have 10, 100,000 trillion dollars, I may be the richest person on the earth, but I can count. It's not really that I'm rich. So the reason it is said that even Krishna cannot understand Krishna is because, Prabhu, everything is dynamic. As we speak, Krishna's pastimes, his Leela, are ever increasing and every time new Leela. That is why Krishna is in 100% control of his Leela. It's not that it is out of control. But then, at the same time, there is no clue what's going to happen next. And still, it's all under control. We cannot understand or perceive this without material mind now. Because these are both contradictory statements. That he does not even know, and at the same time he can control. So he does not even know about his own Aishwarya. For instance, Krishna should know everything, but he can never understand how Radharani loves him so much. So then he takes avatar of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He comes to understand that thing. And by the time he has understood, he goes back to his dham, the love of Radharani has increased further. So again, he has to come back as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the next Kalpa of Brahma to understand the love. By the time he goes back, the love has increased. So Radharani is also a manifestation of Krishna, but still he cannot understand. So these are all inconceivable pastimes and potency we cannot understand with our material brain. Okay?
Then probably the next question which I was about to ask, it's in the same line. I'm repeating it. So you said the Jay and Vijay knew that Lord Krishna wanted to enjoy Veer Ras. That's when all the other avatars of Jay and Vijay came. So that's also come into the same category of Achintya Bheda. Why would he why would he want to enjoy the Vedas? I mean, he is the Vedas, he is all rasas. So he should not be, he's full of everything, all rasa, everything. So then again, this would probably come in the same category.
Yeah, so, okay. So, Atma Sakshat, he's Atma Ram, right? Atma Ram hai, but still, for instance, let's say, you now came into this Krishna conscious movement, okay? And you completely controlled all your senses. You are chanting 64 rounds a day. You are not talking to anyone. You are reading, hearing, and you are only doing Krishna's pastime. You are doing everything as per Lord Krishna. But, Prabhu, you used to be a pro footballer. You used to play football. So if the devotees invite you that let's come and play Prabhuji, so you would want to go and you would play, and there is nothing wrong with that. Right? With the devotees, if one night or one evening you just played some football for 30 minutes, nothing wrong in that. So similarly, Krishna is Atmaram. He has complete control over the senses. But then there are so many leelas that he has to do. For instance, Mother Lakshmi, she said that every time in Vaikunt, every second, Mahavishnu is so busy that all the calendars are booked. Lord Shiva will come Monday 10 a.m. to meet me. Then after he goes, then 10:30 a.m. Indra is going to come. Then 11 a.m. he is going to come. Then okay, lunch break for half an hour. Then he's coming. Then she's coming. Like that. So when after she got married to Lord Mahavishnu, she said that we have never been to a picnic any time. So I want to go on a picnic with you. So he asked for how long? She said about 14 years. So Ramayana took place. And then Jay and Vijay came as Ravan and Kunkaran. So with one, it is said that with one, one stone you kill two targets, something like that. So Krishna does these pastimes. So just by one Leela, he can take care of so many other small pointers. Right? Because understand again that it is all dynamic, Prabhu. It's not like once we go to Vaikuntha planet, then we all become robots. No. We will still be, if I and you reach Vaikuntha, we will still be talking like this in Vaikuntha. We will still be discussing Bhagavad-gītā, Bhagavatam, we would be glorifying Lord Krishna. And we would be chanting, we would be eating, we would be dancing, we would be observing festivals and everything else. So life is dynamic in that world as well. And Krishna does so many pastimes, and there are many reasons to do this. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusham dehamastitam. He also does this pastime so that we can connect with him. Does that help you?
Yes, Prabhu, that's it. In fact, my next question is also related to the one which you already explained, is that the context of KK and Ramayana. So far, I had the understanding that KK did purposefully, but you are saying, I got to know today that she actually did because Lord Ram himself asked him to give him that bowl.
Yes, because Mother Lakshmi had to go for a picnic for 14 years.
Yeah. So that, and again, this is all part of the Leela. Understand?
Yes. Right. Hare Krishna. Yes, Chaitanya Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. I just wanted to add something that that Abhishek Reddy asked. Like, can I add something to what you
Yes,
answered?
Prabhu, please. Go ahead.
Like, he answered the main question, but like I just wanted to add again that because
Like. Don't use the word like.
yes, that Krishna is a person. So the question you were asking was that why does Krishna, even though Krishna is the source of all rasas and the rasa himself, but Krishna is still a person. So basically the Mayavadi philosophy is that they think that everything merges into the light, and then the yogis try to kill their things that bring them joy. But that is not the correct philosophy, because they only see till the Brahma Jyoti, but we know that Krishna is a person. So, and because Krishna is a person, he has things that he enjoys. So Krishna does not get attached to likes and dislikes. So he does not have rag and dvesh. So even if he doesn't do, he will not feel bad that I'm not able to enjoy. But there are things that Krishna enjoys. And so the devotees of Krishna offering bhog to Krishna. So because Krishna is a person, the Krishna will enjoy those things and Krishna will reciprocate. So that is just what I wanted to add, that because Krishna is a person and not just light and not just energy or something. So that's why also Krishna wants to do these leelas.
Understand, Prabhu. You're highlighting Krishna is actually a person. He may be a idol person, but he wants to do what a person does, even though he's not. Since he is a person, so he will do person activities. Understand? Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. So all the qualities we have comes from Krishna. All the qualities. That's why I'm saying that it is all dynamic. It's not static. We are not robots when we reach that world. So we still have the same feelings. Everything goes on as it's going on in this material world. Okay. Anyone else? Any question? No question? Fine. So then we'll have Bhagavatam class tomorrow. Same time, evening 7:30 to 8:30. Thanks for joining. Hare Krishna.